What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Here we are with another reaction, and in this one we have the truth of how India win Africa versus China method. Before we dive into this video, if you guys happen to enjoy, please don't forget to subscribe. Give the video a thumbs up. Also, if you would like to support this channel by becoming a member, all you gotta do is hit the join button to receive exclusive benefits. Now let's dive right in.
Africa is now in a new wave in which they have to take only wise choices. Now, looking at Asia, there are two giants, India and China. Africans removed their eyes from the West, who are not considered now as just friends. There is less trust. Now, going to Asia, where they seem to be much more trustworthy, still there is a competition between the two giants of Asia, who are India and China. Despite what's being seen outside, who is really winning the war of Africa between India and China? First of all, the media side. Looking at the media side, I think this is to everyone, not only to me, but China is visible everywhere in Africa. I mean, in so many African countries, so many people complain about China being visible literally everywhere, in airports or whatever, you name it. But China being more present than India isn't the very first thing which shocked me. There is something else, which is also the difference of the military presence between India and China.
And I feel like from different videos that I've got to see on this channel and reacting to it, because like he said, it sounds like India and China are both heavily invested into Africa. Although it sounds like China started doing the investing first, and they have invested much more than India. India is heavily invested into Africa as well. But from the videos that I've seen, it sounds like China's investment and help comes with strings. As it seems like most of the places I guess they invest in or help or loan to, people get caught into this debt trap by China, whereas India's investments don't come with these same strings. India is genuinely trying to help. But so far it seems like, yes, China does like have more influence and presence in the continent, on the continent right now, than India. I could be wrong about that. Please correct me, but let's see what he's got to say.
There's something else, which is also the difference of the military presence between India and China in African countries. And apparently, Chinese presence have been increasing more and more in Africa comparatively to India, but for different reasons. For the case of China, because of the Belt and Road Initiative, which is a plan which China started, linking the whole world to China to facilitate the movement of goods between China and so many other countries outside, to make them so powerful in terms of business. And because of that, they have been growing their military presence more in Africa because of building these infrastructures. When coming to India, their presence is mostly for peacekeeping and other things, trying to help African governments. As for example, in Congo, the peacekeeping of UN, recently they did again with Seychelles. Now, remember the business part of China with the Belt and Road Initiative? Now that brings me to another point of the business relationship between India and...
So military-wise, it sounds like China has their military, and they've been upping their military over in Africa. But purely in terms of trying to build that Belt and Road Initiative, and where they're able to trade their goods, I guess, all over the world and make it as efficient or as easy as possible, to make it as profitable as possible for China, of course. Whereas India is there for different reasons. India's military is there for peacekeeping purposes, which is absolutely incredible. Let me know what you guys think about that. It sounds like China's there to kind of serve themselves, while India's there to help the people of Africa. And of course, I'm sure they're building relations with Africa, and it probably benefit India in some way, shape, or fashion. But it sounds like they're more so there to help than China's military.
Belt and Road Initiative. Now that brings me to another point of the business relationship between India and China with African countries. And that's where also another side where China has a much more advanced step than India. They have been working for years, not only with Africa, but with the whole world, to sell their goods everywhere in the world. And Africa is one of the places which they've been using for that. And that is now the only place which creates the huge difference between India and China in Africa. Which means that India is not present that much in terms of army, in terms of business, but trust and friendship, which is my last point. India have proven to be ready to work with African countries to build and make them better comparatively to so many other giants in the world. And if you compare the reason why African countries don't look anymore at the Western as their friends, but now look them as the guys who we know what they're here for, that might turn to be the same way in which China might become in the future. Because
that's big time. That's big time. In terms of business relations, kind of like I said earlier in the video, it seems like China is more invested, and they started investing into Africa earlier than India. So they have a heavier investment into the continent of Africa. But in terms of trust and friendship, it sounds like India has built better relations in China because they are there to actually work with India. And where it seems like China's business relationships is just about selling their goods, and about building this Belt and Road Initiative to help them sell their goods. So their investment in everything in Africa is basically just to come back and benefit China. That's it sounds like. And he's saying these been a bit like trust and friendship, kind of like when the West wants to, I guess, invest or do anything. We know what you're here for. We know why you're here. And it's not to work with us. It's not to help us. It's to benefit yourselves. And so he's saying that's how the relationship with China in the future, it seems like, will become. While they may not have a better business partnership with Africa, right? They may not have the same military presence in Africa, but they have more trust and a better friendship with Africa than anybody else, than even China.
What they're here for, that might turn to be the same way in which China might become in the future because of their exclusively business relationship only with Africa. When India, every time they engage with Africa, there is something for Africa to win the same way there is something for India to win, which may create a long-lasting relationship. Africans don't want to deal anymore with Western. They prefer going with countries like Russia and others. The same way it might happen that in the future, the relationship between Africa and China might disappear because of understanding that they're here only for their gain and less for the gain of Africa. And now India appear to most African countries just like a brother who is here to help you, not to gain anything from you. And that is the huge difference which happens between India and China when it comes to who is really winning Africa. Thanks so much for being here. Catch you next time.
I think that was a beautiful explanation he gave. But yeah, he said, hey, that relationship with India is like a brother who's there to help you genuinely, not just to benefit from you, not just to profit from you, but to genuinely help you. And I think that's an incredible relationship that you can have. Shout out India. And while, India may not be doing it just to help Africa. Like, we're only here to help you. India's relationship more so is, there's something in it for you as well as there's something in it for us. So it's a mutually beneficial relationship, whereas China's relationship seems more of a one-sided relationship, whereas we're just here to kind of benefit us. And any good we do, I guess, is just a product of that. But we don't really care about helping you. We don't really care about working with you. This is just business. That's all this relationship is. It's just business. That's all we care about. And if things turn sour, if things don't turn out as good as we want it, we're going to pull our business. Where India's like, no, we want to help you guys. Yes. That's all we got. Please let me know what you think about what he said in the comment section. What you think about the relationships with China and Africa and with India and Africa. I'd love to hear you guys' answers. But if you guys enjoyed that, please don't forget to subscribe, give the video a thumbs up, and check out that next one. I'll see you guys next time.